Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kelsey Affronte, and I'm a community board member of Dawson Place Child Advocacy Center, and I'm an attorney here at Beresford Booth in Edmonds. Today, we're going to do a community spotlight on Dawson Place so that you can learn more about why it's such a valuable agency for Snohomish County and the children of this county. So, for those of you who don't know, Dawson Place is a child advocacy center, and the way that this came about was when a young girl in 2006, I believe, was disclosing abuse that occurred to her. And when she met with the detective and he was asking her questions about what had occurred, she realized that she had repeated her version of events over and over and over again and pointedly asked, "Don't you people talk to each other?" And that single question caused these people to get creative about how we are dealing with children who are going through not only the criminal justice system, but who need to work through trauma that they've experienced. This Child Advocacy Center is a way to mitigate re-traumatization of these children and provide services to them. So this is a place where children can go. This is in Everett, if they have experienced physical or sexual abuse. And the way that all of these people are now talking to each other is that they're all housed in the same building. And it is a building that has beautiful murals and it's very kid-friendly. But the prosecutors, detectives, nurses, counselors, and forensic interviewers are all in one place. And so what does that mean? That means that the Special Investigation Unit detectives of the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office are housed in Dawson Place. The Special Assault Unit from the Snohomish County Prosecuting Attorney's Office, those attorneys and the victim advocates are also housed at Dawson Place. The forensic nurses and victim advocates are also housed at Dawson Place. And so what is a forensic nurse? A forensic nurse is the person who's going to conduct the physical exam of a child who has experienced abuse. And so these people are all in this child-friendly place within steps of other resources, including mental health therapy, which is provided by Compass. These are therapists that are dedicated to these children and do not share the information that they learn with the other individuals in this building. That means that it is confidential and they're not sharing it with the Special Investigation Unit or the prosecutors. It's just between the child and the therapist. And forensic interviewers are also housed there. So what is a forensic interview? A forensic interview is an interview that's typically video and audio recorded between a skilled forensic interviewer and the child, wherein they're going to ask questions about what occurred, but in a very specific way that's tailored towards these children. And then Dawson Place is also a great place for you to get additional resources or referral to additional resources. So that is what Dawson Place is, and why everything is in one place is, again, to mitigate that re-traumatization of these children. Again, it's a really warm building. They have a couple of therapy dogs as well that will greet you when you're there. So all in all, it is just much easier than going to the detective interview room, the prosecutor's office, the hospital, your counselor, and all of these things in 5 different places. And so instead, all of these people are in one building and they're talking to each other so that they can make informed decision on what these children actually need and what their families need. So they're constantly learning from each other, and that is how we're better able to provide this care to children in Snohomish County. And so why Dawson Place is important is because it is 1 in 10 children will be sexually abused before the age of 18. And so April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month and Child Abuse Awareness Month. So that's why I wanted to focus on Dawson Place this month. According to the Snohomish County 2021 census, this means that approximately 18,600 children will be sexually abused before they are 18 years old. and an additional 5,200 will experience physical abuse, neglect, drug endangerment, or witness a violent crime. And so Dawson Place provides services to children that fit in these buckets as well as others. So that is why Dawson Place is so important. And Dawson Place holds a special place in my heart because I used to be a prosecutor for Snohomish County. So I have used Dawson Place for victims on my cases. I have worked with the detectives in the Special Investigation Unit, particularly when I was in the Domestic Violence Unit and dealing with some of those sexual assault cases there. So it is extremely important to me. It is extremely important to Snohomish County. And so that's why I want to teach you more about it and tell you about the impact that Dawson Place has been able to have and how you can increase that impact. So let's take a virtual tour of Dawson Place together, and then I'll come back and tell you a little bit more about my first time at Dawson Place.
I want you to know that you've come to the right place. The people at Dawson Place are here to help you and your family get through this and come out safer and stronger. When my mom and I signed in, I didn't know what to expect. I felt small and scared at first, but they met me with such warmth and comfort that I knew right away I was in a safe space. Every person you meet here, the therapists and victim advocates, nurses, and the interview specialists, right up to the detectives and prosecutors, they are all here to help you on your journey towards justice and healing. If your journey is like mine, you'll start out in the fish room. A child advocate will be there to help you fill out forms, answer your questions, and make sure you feel safe and comfortable. The next part can be difficult, but a specially trained working dog is there to comfort any child who needs her. A forensic interviewer will listen to your story, guiding the disclosure process in a way that is legal and may be used in court. You won't even know it, but there is a team watching, listening, and recording from a separate room. These are the professionals in charge of prosecuting and managing your case, and could include detectives, prosecutors, and Child Protective Services social workers. Down the hall are medical exam rooms designed to make every child feel safe and comfortable in the event that a forensic evaluation is needed. Look up. Every child who comes through these rooms gets to toss a sticky hand onto the ceiling. Know that you're not alone going through this. And just like a sticky hand on a ceiling, this part of your journey won't last forever. The Snohomish County Prosecutor's Office, Sheriff's Office, and Washington State Child Protective Services are all located just upstairs, so all the services you may need can be found under one roof. And on Kidside, each child who comes to Dawson Place gets to pick out their very own handmade quilt to offer love and comfort during this difficult time. Healing takes time, and Compass Health's Child Advocacy program offers mental health evaluations and ongoing therapy for youth up to 22 years old and their families. Providence Intervention Center offers individual therapy for adult survivors of abuse and to parents of children who have been sexually assaulted. All of this is free of charge to you and your family because it's so important to the ongoing healing journey. Dawson Place removes many of the obstacles that can keep survivors from getting the help they deserve. Therapy paves the road to a physically, socially, and mentally healthy life. Through play, creativity, and talk, I addressed my trauma and overcame the painful experiences, finding strength and hope for a better future. The trauma that brings you to Dawson Place doesn't have to define me or you. Together with Dawson Place, you can transform hurt into hope, justice, and healing. You've come to the right place.
Now, obviously, that is a very boiled down to 5 minutes, the experience of this child in the role of a child victim. And typically these cases can, they can take years, frankly. And we've seen children grow up into adults. And the first time that I visited Dawson Place, the sticky hand nursing room really just gave me chills because, like they said, every child that goes into that room and gets an examination is given a sticky hand. The staff at Dawson Place believe that every time a sticky hand falls, it is a symbol of a child healing. And I think that, through my experience, both on the criminal side and on the civil side, you can watch victims literally go through this process and see, their shoulders go up and their head held a little higher because this is a place where they will be heard without question. They will be believed without question. And that is why Dawson Place is so important. So next, I want to talk about some signs and symptoms of child abuse. And I've included physical abuse, sexual abuse, and emotional abuse. And a lot of these signs overlap. Some obvious ones, right, with physical and sexual abuse might be injuries. But with sexual abuse, avoiding someone or a caretaker for no clear reason, difficulty walking or sitting due to a sexual assault, refusing to change clothes in front of others, running away from home, sexual activity or knowledge that doesn't fit their age range or something that you would expect of an adult, and emotional abuse, fear of doing something wrong, speech problems or learning delays, depression, low self-esteem, poor school performance, extreme behavior, head or stomach aches, little interest in friends or activities. For all of these, increased anxiety or signs of depression, these things tend to overlap. And so these are things that you can look out for your own children, for children that you interact with, and keep in mind, especially during April, which is Child Abuse Awareness Month. So next, I want to have you meet Lori Vanderberg, who is the executive director of Dawson Place. And she filmed a video about her experience with Dawson Place and a little bit more information about all of the providers that are there. So we're going to watch this video now.
Hello, my name is Lori Vanderberg, and I'm the executive director at Dawson Place Child Advocacy Center. I've been the director here for 10 years, and prior to that, I managed the mental health program. I'm here to talk to you today a little bit about why Child Abuse Prevention Month is so important. 1 in 10 children will be sexually abused by the time they reach the age of 18. And that is the staggering number of 400,000 children in the United States that will be abused by the time they reach 18. It's hard to imagine the impact that has on education and on how those children grow up and live their lives. In Snohomish County, we estimate that there are over 18,000 children who have been abused by the time they're 18. Growing up, I had people tell me that they were abused, and in that era, we really didn't know much about what to do. And when I went to school to become a therapist, there was an opportunity that became available to help with a girls group for girls that had been sexually abused. I began helping with that group and listening to the stories and seeing them as they talked about what had happened to them and seeing them bond and support each other and gradually starting to get better. And that experience made me interested when I was offered a job in the Compass Health CAP team as a therapist. I worked on that team for 20 years as a therapist and then as a supervisor and then as the manager. And that work made such a difference in people's lives that it made the difficulties of the job completely worth it. 93% of the children that are abused by someone they know. Someone in their neighborhood, someone in their school, someone in their family. Of those children, we see 1,100 of those children per year here at Dawson Place. Dawson Place is a single location where all the services that kids need when they're abused is available. Here at Dawson Place, we have Providence Intervention Center for Assault and Abuse, which provides advocacy, medical, and a 24-hour hotline. We have the Compass Health CAP line, which provides specialized therapy for kids who've witnessed homicides, been physically abused, or have been sexually abused. They're specialists in trauma. We also have Child Protective Services, which intervenes when kids are at risk. We have the Sheriff's Office Special Investigations Unit that investigates crimes. And we have the Prosecutor's Special Assault Unit, which prosecutes the crimes in the courts. We also, under Dawson Place, have forensic interviewers, an outreach team, and we provide and coordinate services. 93% of the children who are abused by someone they know. What that means is their family, their coaches, their neighborhood, their schools. Those are where their abusers are. One of the most impactful days that I remember here at Dawson Place was a day when we went to court as a staff from Dawson Place, and we filled a row in the courtroom. And we were there to support the daughters in a family where the father had been sexually abusing them for years. They had been in therapy, they'd had medicals, they'd been involved with everybody in the building. And several years down the line, it was time for them to go to court. And we all sat and witnessed as an amazing prosecutor asked questions, and in front of their father, the girls were finally strong enough to testify. And in the end, he was convicted and let off in handcuffs. And it was a day of freedom for them to start their lives again, and they have done that. One of my favorite parts of Dawson Place is seeing kids who come in the door and they're terrified. Some have even hidden under couches or under tables or refused to come in the door on their very first visit here because of the lives they have led. And my favorite part is seeing them when they come back after they've had a medical exam and after they've had a forensic interview and they've gotten into therapy, and you see them when they come back in for services week after week, and they start to have some light in their eyes again, and they start to be interested in what the toys are, who the dog is, or what's happening. And they start to look like they're really getting engaged in life again and vibrant. And sometimes we even see those kids having to testify in court, and the power they feel when they're able to confront the abuser and state what happened to them. And that is what makes this work worth it. Some of the most difficult days that I remember from working here at Dawson Place are the days when we have kids come in where there's multiple kids in the family, and all or most of the kids have been being abused for years. And you see them one by one go into the medical or go into the forensic interview, and it's heartbreaking to know the terror and the shame they have lived with for most of their lives. Donations to Dawson Place are important for several reasons. One of them is that we need to keep the lights on, so we need to pay the light bill. Another reason is the support that comes to the staff and to the community here at Dawson Place. When people donate to us, we feel the energy, we feel the support and the encouragement for the work we're doing. And on the days when it's tough, on the days when you hear really hard stories or you see really troubled kids in the lobby, that energy and that support is part of what sustains us. So we are grateful.
So, as Lori was just talking about,
Hello, my name is
it is extremely helpful to Dawson Place to continue providing these services through donations, big or small. People who drop off quilts that they've made so that they can continue to give each child who comes in a quilt to take home. But because it's April, I wanted to point out that the Super Kids Resource Fair is coming up on Saturday, April 29th from 11:30 to 3, which is going to be on the street on Hoyt in Everett, and it's free to attend. There's going to be, I believe, Snohomish County Sheriff's Office is going to bring their helicopter. There's going to be a foam party, a bouncy house, cookie dough truck, ice cream, all sorts of things, face painting. So it's a really fun event, and in fact, a lot of the people who live in the area are excited for it to come again. So I highly encourage everyone to attend, get to know Dawson Place, see Dawson Place, meet Georgia, the therapy dog. You know, it is just one of their best annual events. And another way that you can help is by attending the Hurt to Hope Luncheon, which this year I believe will be on November 9th during the lunch hour. And the Hurt to Hope Luncheon is where they elect a speaker to speak about these types of issues and encourage additional donations. And every year, you know, you leave feeling empowered hearing other individual stories and how they've gone through these types of systems. And in particular, last year, they had a woman who is now going around and lobbying for sex education classes in elementary schools. And in fact, in many of the states where these bills have been enacted, children have quickly come forward disclosing abuse. So it's extremely important that your children are educated on what appropriate and inappropriate touch is. So Dawson Place helps with that as well. They host classes for parents. They go to schools. They go just about anywhere in the community. I've also linked here their wish list where you can purchase and send items to Dawson Place, or you can make a donation. So I thank you all very much for your time in getting to know a cause that I'm extremely passionate about. And if you have any questions about Dawson Place, how you can get involved or how you can help, you can reach out to me, you can reach out to Dawson Place. And I thank you so much for your time and going on this journey with me today. Thank you so much.